All right, guys. Kaiju's on the drop list?
Oh my.
Stay tuned to find out more. Welcome back, Gainers, to another incredible, exciting, fantastic episode of ComicGains! If you're new to the show, I'm Adam.
I'm Zach, and this is Princess Royal Highness. She's doing that princess way. You do it too. Bow to, respect, and of course, there's the Coco dog, our mascot.
Our mascot is here. Hey, Coco. All right, guys, we're back to you on another Monday in January. We're still in January, right?
I think it's just barely.
Just barely. Just the tip?
Just the tip. Actually, beginning of February, because this would be a Monday, right?
All right. Anyway, what we do on Mondays is we talk about the drop list in comics. And that's comics that were hot or trending or trending together. And trending together 1 year ago. And we try to figure out which of those books have taken a huge drop in sales for whatever reason. And we kind of help you guys decide whether it's a good idea to go after those books or a good idea to forget about those books. So it's a good time. We have a great time making this list. And sometimes we even buy books off this list. Sometimes you guys buy books off this list. You know, you never know.
We're trying to spread the Gains love.
That's true. You know what we do know? Is that every time Zach will drink a drink. Has there ever been a time where you didn't drink a drink?
I maybe my own personal made drink, you know, with all of the infused of the herbs and the spices and what the heck's in that cup. But this cup, but not cup,
mixing
bottle,
it in a cauldron,
right? This is already pre-mixed with all the herbs and spices by somebody else. This is a Gold Peak real brewed tea, cane sugar apparently, Georgia peach tea. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you got the Georgia peaches?
I could drink a peach for hours. All right, let's get into this.
I easily make a pig.
It's not bad. For how much sugar it says on there, it doesn't taste very sugary.
Really?
Yeah.
Peach is good,
It's 33 grams.
I like a good peach. Oh, you know, like,
grams.
You buy a peach at the store and then they either, like, they're too hard when you buy them or then they get too, like, ripened too fast. It's hard to get that perfect peach.
You have to grab the peach and give it a little
squeeze.
Yeah, you gotta squeeze those peaches.
Oh, you know what else you can find peaches at? On our Whatnot show. No, we don't have peaches.
We don't.
But you could come hang out with us and find out every Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You got ComicGains, Adam and Zach first, with the Wall of Gains, where we give away slabs and tons of great books. And if you stay a little bit later at 6 p.m., you get to hang out with the Princess, and you get to enjoy the Wheel of Gains. And you get to spin kind of like Wheel of Fortune and, you know, all the Van White goes. But more importantly, Princess's own show, and she does all the talking. And you get some great deals. We all do dollar start auctions as short as 30 seconds, and it's amazing. We always try to have great gains, so come check us out. Yeah. All right, guys, back to the drop list. This week, 1 year ago, these books were trending. And we're starting off with Black Panther #3, Volume 8, 2022. We're talking about Tosin. First appearance of Tosin. This is Alex Ross and John Ridley. And this is a great story. There's so many good books coming out of this run. But yeah, first appearance of Tosin. He is a Wakandan who is powered by vibranium tattoos, which is pretty cool. And he's probably like one of the coolest characters to come out of Marvel in like a long time. So, you know, his book has been kind of expensive right out of the gate, and it's kind of pretty much held its value. It's had a couple ups, a couple downs, but it's made the drop list this week, and this might be a good idea to pick it up. I know I'm looking at this one, but he comes from a special tribe of Wakandans that have kind of shunned using vibranium for technology, and in this storyline, it's kind of different. So, like, T'Challa's been like accused of murdering some of his like sleeper agents that were like out in the world, Wakandan agents. So he's kind of on the outs with his own people, and the Avengers are kind of mad at him. So, like, Tosin's kind of taken, like, stepped in sort of role and come more of a prominent character. So, very government conspiracy run. But it's pretty good. Pretty good stuff. And there's a new series out, Wakanda, that just came out as well, which kind of showcases Tosin as well. So some good stuff going on with that. I can tell you, be on the lookout for the Torrin Clark 1 in 25. That's probably your investment book if you're thinking about investing in Tosin for a long time. We know what 1 in 25s do for big characters. They can hit huge heights over time. And There's a second print that is very underrated. It's like the first cover appearance of Tosin as well, and super cheap. I think you can get that for like under $10. So cool stuff, cool book. It might be your opportunity. Zach will give you more information.
Yeah, there's a sale on Vibranium, guys, right now. Because prices a year ago was $300 for a 9.8. Now, $130.
That's like right out the gate too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is like
As soon as like started printing them off, they sent them to CGC. Of course, they get a lot of 9.8s. I didn't look at the census on this, but I bet you there's a lot. It's been as low as $99 and as high as $345. Average sale is $174. $130. Not too bad of a price. It's a little bit under the average. It has some legs on there, but for sure, the 1 in 25 would be, like Ab says, would be the money book right there. So I'd consider buying this raw and then the 1 in 25 already graded, because if you get this book not a 9.8, it's kind of a heartbreaker or higher. You want a 9.8 and up.
It's only like a year old.
Book.
Yeah,
yes.
It's only like a year old. So.
Yes, that's what I would say. Buy raw for the regular cover A and buy graded for the 1 in 25, because you don't want to risk that getting a 9.6 or lower.
That's true.
You'd cry. I would cry. I'd cry for you if you have closed-in emotions. I'll cry for you guys.
There you go.
And that's how you get those crying
I like
gags.
it. I like it. There's next book on the list is one book we do not have, and I wish that we had this book. I'm obsessed about this book right now, but it's all new Ghost Rider #1, 2014. Trad Moore and Felipe Smith doing the good work on this great book. And this is first appearance and origin of Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes. So also just, really great book, really great character. We've actually seen him before on the small screen. He showed up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., played by Gabriel Luna. And he's also the actor that's in the show Last of Us. So get to see him again. But we haven't seen him on the big screen, and I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. technically isn't canon anymore. Technically that show's like not quite canon. But a year ago, there's a ton of Ghost Rider spec. Everybody's trying to figure out which Ghost Rider they're going to use, and there's a lot of them. I think he's actually the 5th or 6th Ghost Rider overall that's ever come out. So there's a lot of different ones. I kind of give this question to you. If there's a first Ghost Rider in the MCU, who would you guys want to see first? Would you want to see your Johnny Blaze, your Danny Ketch, your Robbie Reyes? So, there's a bunch of different ones.
There's a lot.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
There's a lot of them. And couple books to look out for. There is two, I think actually all the variants are good to look out for in this one. There's a 1 in 25 that's Felipe Smith. That's a great book. And there's a 1 in 50 Trad Moore. So it's like both creators have the ratio variants of their own. There's also a rare second print that I think is underrated. It's like 2,000 copies printed.
Wow.
And Princess will tell you there's a very great Scotty Young cover you should also be looking for. And currently in the Avengers story, he was just dubbed the All Rider. So he is like the overall great Ghost Rider in Marvel Comics. So supposedly.
Fake news.
But what's not supposedly about this book, Zach?
Well, not supposedly. They call him the Spirit of Vengeance. But in that Scotty Young cover, he has a vengeance in his diaper. Okay, prices a year ago in a CDC 9.8 for cover A was $676. A lot, very high, very high. Now, it's almost about half that, $350.
Wow.
Range, supposedly, one sold price. That's weird. One sold for $61, supposedly. I don't know, that might be fake news. High, for real, was $800. Average sales $377. It's pretty close to the average. So a lot of them have sold for under the $350, I'm assuming. So this one would be a good pickup if you can get it for the right price. I would go for a screaming deal on this one because it's a newer book. There should be a lot of 9.8s. It's a very popular character, so it could pull a Miles Morales, and this book could be worth $1,800 in no time. It's all possible. I would say try to find a good deal on this. Maybe a raw copy. I mean, if someone's selling to you for $200, 9.8, I'd probably snag on it.
Yeah.
I'd take that steal. I call it a steal. A big win, guys. A big win. All right, that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, plus it's cool. He drives a Charger. You know, instead of a motorcycle. You know, all the other Ghost original ones all drove motorcycles. He has a charger, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, you can
Kinda
charge
different.
up all your phones and all your computers
The other kind
with
of
the charger.
The other kind of charger.
He's driving a charger with a little outlet on there with a couple wheels on it.
All right. Next up on the list, when Zach's a bad boy, he needs to be punished
Punish me!
by the Punisher.
Punish me!
And we got Punisher #1, the limited series from 1986. Mike Zeck and Stephen Grant, the other Stephen Grant, not the Moon Knight Stephen Grant, working on this book. And this has always been kind of a conundrum book to me. You know, I'm not quite sure why it's as expensive as it is. It is first solo series featuring the Punisher, which makes some sense. It's a very cool book, very cool cover. It kind of reminds me of the whole Wolverine limited series as well, which came out kind of a similar time as well, which is also a very expensive book. I think this is actually more expensive than the Wolverine one. Or close.
Surprisingly.
Close. It's just kind of strange. There's no like major first appearances in it, you know, but it's expensive as heck. And, you know, this book got high a year ago. Punisher got his own new solo book came out, and they changed his chest symbol. And a lot of the Punisher keys went up. 129, ASM 129 went up. Both of the Punisher #1s went up. Second appearance of Punisher went up. And, you know, a lot of stuff people were worried, like, if you didn't read the book, you thought maybe the Punisher chest symbol was going away. Now that we've read it, we know it's just kind of a little play with the hand.
Surprise.
No pun intended. And eventually, I think he will be getting his chest symbol back. But you know, I think it's a cool character, and you know, I'm pretty sure we're gonna see him back in the MCU. I would be kind of interested to see which one you guys think he's gonna be, because he didn't get slated for any upcoming shows or TV shows that we know of, which I think is why the book dropped back down a bit. But is he going to be in Daredevil Born Again? Is he going to show up in Armor Wars? Is he going to get his own solo show? There's been a bunch of leaks that like John Barenthal is going to come back to play the character. Some people accidentally kind of leaked that. So we know he's coming back. We just don't know when. But something we do know is you do want to look out for the newsstand variant, because it's worth significantly more. And there's a nice Canadian price variant as well in newsstand that
look that one up.
Both about $100 more than the regular cover.
So for the direct in this situation, there's not that many sales as the newsstand. So I went for the direct and the 9.8. Prices a year ago was $1,695. Now it's about $780. Under half. Under. Range $780, $1,695. Flip it up. Average sales is $11.71. There's only been 15 sales of a 9.8 this year. Not that many. So this is, again, a great book to get. You almost have to, if you want a 9.8, you almost have to buy it as a 9.8. Because it's an all dark cover. It came in the 80s. So there were backing boards and sleeves, of course. And of course, maybe even some type of top loader. So it is possible to find one out in the wild in a 9.8 condition, or could be made into a 9.8 condition, but the likelihood of it is pretty low. So if you want this in 9.8, you might just have to fork over the $780. It's going to be very hard to find it. Very hard. It's not impossible, but very.
Yeah, I agree with Zach. It's kind of like this weird double-size issue, too, where the wrapping around the book is not quite as flat as a normal comic would be, and I think that also kind of hurts. Like, the design of it is almost like begging for spine ticks.
Right.
It's begging for some spine ticks. You know, yeah, it would be a lot. Those double-size issues are hard to keep. Hard to keep tight. Real tight.
Yeah, it's tight full.
You know what also is real tight? It's the Uncanny X-Men #19 from 1966. Some Silver Age goodness, and we got a slab for you guys. A slab for you to see.
White pages, too.
We got the Jack Kirby goodness and Stan the Man Lee working on this great book. And this is the first appearance and origin of Mimic, the amalgam character known better as Calvin Rankin. And kind of an interesting character. I know when I read through the story, he kind of starts out as a villain a little bit. He's trying to like make this machine so he can like permanently keep all the X-Men's powers. Because when he's around them, he gains their powers for like a short amount of time. I think he's actually not a mutant overall. He's like gained his powers through like an accidental experiment. But as time goes on, he's kind of similar in age to the X-Men too. I believe in the storyline. And as time goes on, he ends up becoming part of the X-Men for a very, very short time.
Right.
And I thought he would have been a cool member, but Zach kind of thinks he's too OP, too overpowered. And I believe the writers thought so as well, because they quickly had him sacrifice his powers to defeat the super adaptoid, and we didn't see him for a very, very long time. Everything after that's kind of funky. He does come back in some weird fashion, but the original storyline's pretty cool. But as things were a year ago, you know, all the X-Men, major X-Men keys, and this is kind of one of the major X-Men keys, great cover, especially for the older books, great cover. Everyone was gobbling them up. Gobbling them, right?
Yeah, Pac-Man.
Yeah. And this is one of those ones, and he could be cool. I mean, I could see him using this character in some form, on the big screen or the little screen. We'll have to see. But, you know, it's taking a little bit of a dive, and Zach's the resident expert on X-Men keys. So how do you feel about this one?
I feel it's a great book to get. I believe that they could use this character, like said, in the near future, once they bring in the X-Men and everything. They would have to use him in a situation where he has an OP villain or entity, you know, celestial being, that they would have to take out, maybe use the combined powers of all the X-Men and maybe some other people around it, and then it probably would be like a sacrificial role. You can't have a character that's too OP without having a really OP villain or celestial being, or else it just gets so convoluted. Then you have to go up, and get more crazy with everything, the whole situation. And it's kind of like a thing destined to fail, because eventually you can't go anymore, or it's going to look very cheesy.
You know how you beat that?
What?
You get down with the OPP.
Oh, down with the OPP. You know me. Range for a 9.0 a year ago was $1,000. Now, $576.
Woo!
Price rate from a year ago now. Now, range throughout the entire year, it was as low as $477 and as high as $1,000. Average $715. Pretty expensive book to get into in a 9.0. You probably get one raw for a pretty decent deal, and then you can get your beak wet without not too much of an investment. So I would recommend doing that, unless you got the extra cash and you find a good copy of it for somewhat of a decent deal. But I would try to go for this lower grade just to get in on it without too much of investment, in case I'm wrong, which I never am wrong, and always humble. I never lied, not once. But yeah, it's not a bad book.
I like it. All right, and the final book on the drop list is the Mighty Kaiju.
What the heck?
Godzilla!
Oh, Godzilla!
Look out, Zach, there's Godzilla. And it's
like
Godzilla #1 from 1977. Herb Trempe and Doug Monick working on this great book. First ongoing series of Godzilla in America. And it's just a cool book in general. You know, you don't think of like Godzilla as like a comic book character, more of like, you know, big screen kind of character first. But just a good artwork, good story, good stuff going on. It's a Marvel book. Exciting, but this movie got hot last year. There's a lot of Godzilla versus King Kong goodness going on. Everyone's picking up keys that have to go along with it. There's a lot of like, I feel like a couple years ago kaijus were like a big deal, you know, like they kind of slowed down a little bit, but I'd like to see more of them, you know. Some more Power Ranger fighting kaiju kind of goodness.
Oversized robots, oversized monsters, just oversized everything.
Everything oversized.
Everything oversized.
But there's some good stuff on the horizon. I don't think this book should be counted out. I don't think there's anything coming up just too soon. I know Netflix is thinking about doing an anime using Godzilla, which could happen. Apple TV, I think, owns the rights to certain aspects of Godzilla and King Kong, so they might be doing like a MonsterVerse coming up soon, which could be exciting. And as we know, anything Godzilla's, if you see a Godzilla movie, he's never counted out. You will see another one in 5 to 10 years. Just wait, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not so good, but you know, depending on, they're always fun, they're always exciting. So right now, if the book it might be low, as Zach will tell you, might be a good idea to pick it up. And don't forget to look out for that 35-cent price variant, because it is pensive as heck. For instance, like, wait, did I have a 35-cent price variant?
I had to look too.
It's like 4 times more than the regular one, at
wow.
least. Yeah, it's crazy expensive. What about this book, Zach? Godzilla!
Prices a year ago for this gigantic book of exceptional size was $700 for CGC 9.8. Now $455 Range $455 to $700. Average sale $608. It's not a bad book. Not a bad book at all for 9.8 for this kind of cool book. This is something that could be easy 1,000, if not more.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to be mad at you if you get a 9.8. This one, because it's a lighter cover, you might get lucky and find a couple copies that could be a 9.8. You're probably going to be hit with a 9.6. So if you don't mind a 9.6, and I don't for this beautiful cover, very vibrant, I'm not going to be too bad about it. 9.8, you probably want to buy graded already, but I would actually buy a couple copies and give you your shot if you don't mind 9.6s. And if you get lucky with a 9.8, all the better. Low investment, high return, get those games.
That's like the code.
The code.
That's exactly
the
like
code.
that. I feel like they could make a really cool Godzilla TV show. You know what I mean? Like, they could pull it off. If somebody got the right writers and they did like a 4-season Godzilla TV show, put a little budget behind it,
Right.
You know, they could do something really fantastic with it. So.
Yeah, you just have to know when to kind of taper off and hedge your bets a little bit, because if you see some of the old school movies, the Japanese movies, they're really great, and then there's a couple of them where they cut on the budget, and you can tell all of them are a guy in a suit, but you can tell they just basically got a pillowcase and drew some stuff on there, and he's doing weird dances.
He's like, it's like a sock puppet. I like how those old movies were like all the Americans are the bad guys too. If you watch them, they're like the villains of the story.
It's a little bit of payback, you know?
It's true. It's true. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this drop list of this week on Monday. And if you love seeing or hearing the drop list, all you got to do is hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you always know when new things are down, because we're going to be live this Wednesday and you want to make sure you're there on time.
Always.
And leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think about this drop list. I think we posed some nice questions to you. I'd love to hear your guys' answers. And Zach, you got anything special going on this week?
Yeah. Well, this week. Well, I'm just saying you got to share. You got to share every week.
You should do that this week.
You got to share it on Facebook, guys. You got to share that there's these crazy 3 people on YouTube telling you great information about comic books every single week without stop for 3 to 4 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's been even longer. It's been awesome. The journey keeps on going, and that's how you get those comic gains every week, by sharing everywhere.
That's true. That's true.
Send out a newsletter, guys. Make up a newsletter and send it out. That's how you share. One of the ways. Share. Get those gains.
The more you know.
The more you know.
All right, guys. Until we see you next time, stay safe and remember,
Get those newsletter gains.